Now, first, when we say dear startup, it means that there is a category of persons I want to speak to or that I am speaking to. There is a category of persons that I am speaking to, and these are startups. And it's important I start first by clarifying that being a startup is not necessarily because your business is just starting. It's not necessarily because your business is just starting. Because again, anytime we say, oh, are you a startup and all of that, whether in a Greek or in any space, as long as we are dealing with the business space, when we say startup is not necessarily referring to the fact that your business just started. Rather, a typical startup is a company that is just starting but has capacity for accelerated growth. So, a startup typically is not just because you are just starting. A startup typically is not just because you just established the business, but rather it is a business that is less than 5 years, but has that inherent capacity for accelerated growth. Very important. There must be capacity to grow fast. And that is why, if you are conversant with stories around Silicon Valley, you would always hear, oh, they are supporting this startup or that startup or this startup. And you might be wondering, but you too, you are just starting. Why are they not interested in investing in you? As a matter of fact, you would even notice at times they would even invest in companies that are still at the ideation stage. Ideation meaning they have not even produced something yet, either a product or a service, but rather they are still in the idea stage. Some of them maybe just even have only a prototype, but they are still able to get investors. And the key to that is not because of where they are, but because of the inherent potential of where they can be. Because of the inherent potential of where they can be. And when you study the Silicon Valley playbook, one of the fun things I noticed in that ecosystem is the fact that if I have run a business before and I failed, not that I failed because what's it called now? Because I ate the funds and all of that, embezzled money and all. But if there is a systemic failure, you realize that when you come back with a new idea, it is very easy for you to raise more money. Of this guy, Isaac Newman. Hope I got his name right. I think Isaac Newman. Isaac Newman is the first co-founder or is the co-founder or major founder of WeWork. WeWork was the first official company that started co-working space. Today, co-working space is rampant in different countries, that is in Nigeria, especially in the mega cities like Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt, even in some upcoming cities like Abeokuta, Ibadan. You see a lot of co-working space. But the first company that actually started the whole co-working space movement was a company called WeWork. And it was founded by a man called, I think, Isaac Newman. Hope I got it right. I think Isaac Newman. And let me see, because I want to be sure I got the name right. Now, the fun thing about all of this is the fact that after Isaac Newman's company went bankrupt, you would have thought that because of the bankruptcy of his company, nobody will touch him again in the ecosystem if he has a new idea. But the funny thing is, when he came up with a new business idea, he had a lot of investors willing to tap into it. And why would they be willing to tap into it? Because he has shown capacity to grow things before. He has already proven himself that, hey, things can work in my hand. Yes, things can fail, but things can also work in my hand. Things can fail, but yes, I was right, Isaac Newman. And for you to understand, so you get where I'm going to gradually. If you follow the story of WeWork, at the time WeWork failed, WeWork was worth $47 billion. WeWork was worth $47 billion. Think about it. How does a company that was worth $47 billion fall? Because you would have assumed if you get to that point where you are worth $47 billion, failure is not an option. But the fact that he has been able to build something that could be that big, that could be that large, in trying to restart, it was not going to be difficult. What am I trying to say? As a startup, what makes you a startup is not because you just began, but because you have a capacity to grow. Because you have a capacity to grow. So just a minute. You have the capacity to grow. And this is very, very important. Because what you notice is a lot of businesses today, or let's use farming as an example, a lot of persons coming into agriculture and all of that, number one, you are coming into this agricultural space, but the issue is you do not have a growth potential plan. You do not have a growth potential strategy. Yes, you know how to talk big. You know how to talk large. You know how to say, oh, if there is money, we will do this. I think years ago, I think it was my CNN interview where I said, what you need more are ideas, not money. Ideas, not money. Because you see, a lot of persons, how do I say this so it doesn't come out wrong? When you talk to a lot of startup, if you've ever attended all this pitching competition, where people come to pitch and all of that, what you are going to notice is a lot of startups have similar ideas. A lot of startups have similar ideas. The only difference in the ideas is the person saying it. So my personality makes me sound different. So it means that at investors level, they are used to hearing what you are saying. You sound a lot like a lot of other people they have heard. And that is a big issue as a startup. A lot of startup CEOs are too consumed about their vision that they are not willing to check and read about other people's vision to suddenly realize what you are trying to do is just new to you, is not new to the world. I don't know if I'm making any sense. That thing you are trying to do, that you are thinking when I get an investor, the investor will give me money because of this great idea that I have. The idea is just great to you. In the realm of investors, there are a lot of people doing it. I'll give an example. I remember 2022 or 23, I think 23 or so, I think 2023, I remember discussing with my team and saying, we are going to go into dehydration of fruits. We had that conversation and we were very motivated. Like when I say motivated, we were super motivated that we are going to revolutionize the industry. We are going to dehydrate fruits, and before you know what is happening, we will take over the market. Hi, Barry. And for us, that felt like a good vision. Fortunately, I think a few days after that day, I reached out to one of my mamas in the industry, Miss Atinuke, CEO of Cattle Food. And I said, Mama, see what I'm trying to do. What are your thoughts on this? And when I told her, she was laughing and she was like, Martin, like I already do this now, that she has been doing it. They started giving me names of other people who were already doing the same thing in the space. Now, try and imagine I had gone to the presence, gone before an investor to go and pitch. And I am telling that investor, this is what I want to do, blah, 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 blah. All I end up doing in the presence of that investor is showing the investor how uninformed I am about the industry. Because what is exciting me as new is not new to the investor. So it only tells the investor that if I do not know this thing that is common knowledge at their level, and they are not even in agric, but they have this information, how then can they trust what I know that they do not have information about? Because if what is common knowledge I do not know, how can they trust what is uncommon knowledge that I know? Are we together? Because again, as a startup, let me say it again so somebody will understand what I'm saying. Your idea many a time is not as unique as you think it is. Hi, Ayo. Hi, Premium Farmer. Is not as unique as you think it is. It only sounds unique to you. It only sounds unique to you, but it is not as unique as you think it is. It is unique to you. It is unique because you are the ones thinking about it for the first time. And this is one big issue with startup. We have not been able to critically examine our vision. Critically examine our vision. Do the checks and balances and ask ourselves, okay, this vision that I am having, hey, Billionaire Farmer, good evening, sir. This vision that I am having, as beautiful as it sounds in my head, as beautiful as it sounds in my mind, this vision that I am having, does it really make sense? Yes, we lack clarity. Does it really make sense? Because you need to be able to figure out, this my vision. Are there other people doing it? That is why when you go for pitches, have you noticed one of the things that we want to always ask is, who are your competitors? And many a time, I find it funny when you are calling competitors who do not know that you exist, who your success would not even touch their niche. They are not your competitors. Let me look for a way to explain that to make sense. I want to open pure water factory in Ogun State tomorrow, as an example. I am thinking of opening a pure water factory in Ogun State, as an example. Then you are asking me who are my competitors. And among my competitors, I wrote Ever Water. Amongst my competitors, I wrote Ragolis. No. Yes, we are in the same water business, but we are not in any way. Not sure what. We are not in any way in the same space at all. We are not in the same in any way at all, at all, at all. Because the mistake we make at times is when we say understand your competition. Understand, because why are we telling you to understand your competition? We are looking at where you are right now. In your potential to grow, who are the likely people that will take your market? Because the person that will buy ever is not thinking of pure water. The person that will buy Ragolis is not thinking of your sachet water that you are selling. Am I making sense? So we need to get to that point where first and foremost, level one, as a business person, understand your vision. Using my billionaire farmer's words, bring clarity to your vision. Judge your vision, weigh it. The fact that you thought about it does not mean it makes sense. The fact that the idea came to you while you were doing your, what's it called, does not mean the idea is ripe enough to be executed. You need to look at what is already available in the industry. You must do what we call industry mapping. You must do what I called what? Industry mapping. How do I mean? Let me use another example. I got into agriculture the year 2012, but I did not start business until sometimes 2016 or so. I was in research for about 5 years or so. I did not get into the business part of agriculture till 2016. Now, when I got into the business of agriculture, I was entering the business with aeroponics farming, that's growing plants in the air. One of the things I needed to do by myself was I had to sit down and go online as a startup to know, is there anybody doing soilless farming in any form? Whether it is hydroponics, whether it is aquaponics, whether it is aeroponics, whether it is fogaponics, as long as it was soilless, I wanted to know. Now, in my wanting to know, I was not concerned about those doing it in Ghana. I was not concerned about those doing it in Togo, in Benin Republic, how much more US or UK. Those were not my concerns. I was more concerned about who are the people doing it in Nigeria. Not even everywhere in Nigeria, southwestern Nigeria. Because that was where I was going to be playing from. So I wanted to understand local competition first. I wanted to understand, see, the vision was already there, the idea was already there, the technical know-how was already there, but I needed to understand, who am I competing with? Who am I going to be fighting or struggling with? Because again, at that time, the number of people that can afford to set up hydroponics farms were few. You needed to have a lot of money to think of owning an hydroponics or aeroponics farm. So it means that the number of people that can afford what we are trying to do were not so many. So there was a need for me to know who my competitors were. Are we together? But two, because the number of people who can set up who can pay for this service are not so many, it means that I had to sit down and say, if I want to fight others that can set up, the market is too small to be fighting. So I devised a means and said, what I need to do to succeed in this space for me was to find a way to collaborate across board. To collaborate across board. That if I can push for collaboration across board, that collaboration would give me an edge quickly within the space. Because remember, like I said, the people who can afford this thing at that time were not many, and they were guys with money. Based on my background, I did not have, I did not have funds, Although I did not come from a place of wealth where I would say, oh, I have the network of people that have money that can just say, that they have fun, I come and do this thing. Because people who came from a place of wealth had that as an advantage. Now, notice, as a startup, I was not thinking of the technical anymore, rather. It is now, what is my strategy? Because remember how I defined a startup? We must see the capacity to grow fast. We must see that capacity to grow fast. It is a must. You must be able to build the capacity to grow fast. So what did I do? I started reaching out to the top soilless farmers of those times. Because I was in a former company, the guys that I was with in the company did not understand the strategy. They felt, no, let us fight, let us fight. At some point, I had to part way with them. When I now started Soilless, I reached out to Pastor Debo. There's a BIC farm on my own. Daddy, I like what you do. I'll be your boy. I reached out to Gatna Callaway. Gatna Callaway then was in Lekki, Lagos. They were the finest hydroponics farm in Lagos. Not just even in Lagos, probably in Nigeria. Like the most beautiful in Nigeria at that point. So what did I do? I reached out to him. I remember then I even went to his facility, did some trainings for free for people. I organized training in his facility for free for people in his name. What did that do? That created a bond. Because in my intentionality to collaborate with all the top leaders, BIC at that point had been in soilless farming since 2012. I was in soilless farming, but I was in research. He has been in soilless as a business. So a lot of people that needed to do stuff already knew him. For a fine farm that people could visit, that was beautiful, that was Instagram worthy, that gave you Gatna Callaway had that. Yes, I had the skill and the knowledge. If I came into that space to compete, it will be hard to come out. I'm trying to show you a real example of why you need to study your space. Gatna Callaway was somebody, the owner of Gatna Callaway came from oil. So they had funding. Not just did they have funding, they had something much more important than that. He had network. Pastor Debo, on the other hand, came from a family where his daddy was a major agricultural farmer. So daddy also had history. I did not study Agric. I stumbled into Agric. I did not have network. There was no way, if I say my competition is BIC and Gatna Callaway, I will be lying to myself. Because the edge they have in the industry was not an edge from a level of knowledge, because in knowledge, we were all probably at the same level. But somebody had the leverage of history, the other person had the leverage of net worth. Network and net worth. So what was my strategy in that space? The strategy was, I need to collaborate. I needed to collaborate. So that when I now go to pitch to investors and I am talking, when I am talking, you can see, oh, this is me with Pastor Debo. See when I went to his facility to do stuff. See when he visited my facility to also take a class. See me with Gatna Callaway and Yomi Williams. See me in his facility to take stuff. See him coming to my facility. You see, at that point, I am able to use their name as a leverage for what I am building. Two, I wanted to show you, I wanted to see how we build capacity for accelerated growth. The investor no longer focuses on where I am, but focuses on where they are and realizes, okay, if these people can be at this level in their journey, then if we support a Samson too can be at this level. There is now a potential for growth. Because remember, the investor may not have all the stories of knowing, oh, this person comes from a place of high net worth. This one has a story of from a place of good history. That is why they are winning. They may not have all of that nitty-gritty. But it is my job to be sure that I have those information. What am I saying? As a startup, your first job, your number one role, your number one job is you must study your industry. I know you have the vision. It is beautiful. I know you've thought of the great vision. Your vision you have in your mind is awesome. How you are going to change the world. It is beautiful. But despite the vision that you have seen, despite the vision that you have understood that you are carrying, you need to sit down and get clarity. And to get that clarity, you need to now study the industry. Because the reason others that have gone ahead perished is not because they did not have vision. It is because the vision did not get clarity. So they ran with what they thought was real. Let me explain this. One of the biggest problems with vision is vision makes you believe you are right in all your thoughts. Vision tells you you are right. Please on TikTok, share and tap the screen. Please share and tap. Please share and tap. Vision makes you believe that you are right. Like when you have that idea starts pouring you on, starts pushing you, and you think you are right. You feel every other person that failed was because they did not know what they were doing. You start thinking that you have all the answers and all the solutions in yourself. Permit me to use this example so it will make sense. Jesus is the Son of God, Abi. He came on earth. Think about this critically. He came on earth to save the world. He already knew the vision for his life. But think about this. He spent 30 years studying to prepare for a 3-year ministry. So one of the issues a lot of startups have is you have not taken time to study what you are trying to do. You have not taken time to study the sector. You have not taken time to study the patterns. You have not taken time to study how the economy of where you operate affects what you're doing. You've not taken time to study the environment. You've not understood the patterns. You've not understood people that hold the key to the success. I always like to use this example. If you know Ibadan very well, there are farms in a place called the Iseyin area. If you put your farm in that region, there are powers that be that if you and them do not align, your product will not sell in Bodija markets. These things are not secret. But if you do not understand this nitty-gritty, you are just carrying paper with a lot of vision. And you are wondering, why are things not working for me? Why are things not going as I planned? But the reason will be simple, just because you've not taken time to study the industry. So you need to take time to study. That you are just starting. That is why, again, for those that are just joining, the reason why you would see somebody that is just starting a business abroad and they are getting a lot of investors is because they have clarity of the industry. There is a way you speak that people get to start saying, okay, this person really understands what they are saying. This person has taken time to study the industry to understand to understand the value they are bringing on board. Because the issue remains, take your time. Anytime you are free, try and visit anywhere people are pitching. You will understand what I'm saying. 99% of the pitches that you will hear are people saying the same thing in different forms. Most of the people pitching for their new ideas and blah, 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 when you take time and listen to pitches again and again and again and again, you start hearing people saying the same thing in different forms. And this is why they are not able to attract real investment. This is why you are not able to get real good financial supporters. Because your idea is only unique to you. There is nothing unique about it in the industry. It is because you did not do research that made you believe you've gotten an idea. It is because you did not take time to do proper research that did not make you realize that what you are trying to push is already available. So you are just sounding like another person's company happily with boldness. As a startup, number one is with your vision, go and work on clarity. The clarity will let you understand the external environment that you want to operate. Nothing kills a company faster than the external environment where the company is operating. Nothing kills a company faster than that. Nothing kills a company faster than that. Number two is because a lot of people have not understood that environment, they've not taken time to get industry clarity, you now create an unsustainable business model. Unsustainable business model. Notice I did not say you have unprofitable business model. I am not saying your business model is not profitable, because many a time as a startup, we are too concerned about having a profitable business model. We do not build a sustainable business model. They are two different things. You can have a business model that gives you profit today, but by tomorrow, that model is no longer functional. Let me give you an example. You will remember the time of COVID. We all remember the time of COVID. As a Nigerian, the two things that we were selling most in Nigeria during COVID was, what's that thing called? Hand sanitizer, Abi. Hand sanitizer was selling a lot. Nose mask was selling a lot, Abi. Imagine at the height of COVID, I went to meet an investor. And I told the investor, see, I have done my mathematics. This is the number of hand sanitizers that people use per day in Nigeria, or the number of nose masks that people use per day in Nigeria. And I have all my data. And the investor sees that this is profitable. Think about it. You would expect that investor to give me money, Abi, because my data shows that the data and the reality and the external environment shows that of a truth, people are using hand sanitizer every day. Of a truth, people are using nose mask every day. Of a truth. But the harsh reality is, although that business model looks profitable, will COVID last forever? No. Which means the business model that shows that people will buy maybe 1 million liters of what's it called, hand sanitizer daily, that is not sustainable. So many a time, as business people who are startups, we create a profitable business model, not a sustainable business model. We create a profitable business model, not a sustainable business model. And for anybody that if you are looking for an investment, a long-term investment that will change your trajectory in life as a startup, what you are looking for is a sustainable business model. But if what you are looking for is short-term financing, give me money January, I pay you back by December, give me by January, I'll give you back by September, by June, then at that point you are looking for profitable. It doesn't have to be sustainable. If I'm making any sense, please let's share, let's like, they call it tap. Let's tap, let's share, let's like on TikTok. If you are learning from this, please also share if you are learning from this. So one of the biggest issues that we have had is a lot of persons are not building sustainable business model. Rather, we are building profitable business model. And that it gives you profit today does not mean it might give you profit tomorrow. That is why, remember, I talked about the external environment. things can change. Things can change, and what was profitable today becomes a loss tomorrow. So, for anybody that is thinking of, okay, I'm a startup, I need investment and blah, 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 remember that a proper investor in your startup only makes their money when the company goes public, or the company becomes unicorn, or the company is sold. So, if you need them to take your company serious, you need to be thinking sustainable business model, not profitable business model. And let me shock you. When you are building a sustainable business model, at times, you can go 4 years without getting profits. You can operate for years and you are not profitable. You are not profitable. You can go for years and you are not profitable. That's if I have time, I can tell you, I can give you names of companies that operated for years. Let me see. Let me even look for. Let me go online and check. Top companies that operated for years before becoming profitable. I know, for example, Amazon will be there on the list. I'm even right. I didn't even know that's the first thing Google brought out. Amazon was established 1994. They were established 1994. They did not turn a profit until 2001, which means Amazon went 6 years without turning profits. Amazon went 6 years without turning profits. But see, because we need to understand this, I know this is at times a hard nut to crack. When you are telling a startup that, see, we are not telling you to make profit, we are telling you to build a sustainable business model. Because somebody is asking, where will you get investors? I can take you to places and spaces where you will see a lot of investors who are willing to put in millions upon millions into your industry. I remember I was discussing, I will not call the mommy's name, and she was telling me, oh, Samson, this in diaspora are saying, Samson, create a wealth fund, let us put money in. And I remember discussing with some people, and I'm like, if I say they should bring in money, in 10 years, they will still be there. Because there is the kind of money people want to put into your business, but they need to know that this business will remain. You cannot be saying somebody should come and put $5 million in your business. Then you are now coming back to say, really, no, it should not be happening. So you need to understand that for investors, sustainable business model is more important than profitable business model. That is why you will hear things like them saying things like, we are looking for a business we would invest in that will give us maybe times 10, times 20, times 30 returns in 10 years. Which means they are betting on your company being alive in 10 years. They are betting on your company being alive in 10 years. Let me give another example. Tesla, we all know Tesla. Tesla was established in 2003. Tesla spent 17 years before they turned profitable. Tesla spent 17 years to become profitable. Tesla is into vehicle making. Amazon took 6 years. They are into online store space. Spotify, we know Spotify, and at least they become popular in Nigeria now for music. Spotify went 10 years. 10 years before they became profitable. 10 years. Netflix, for watching movie. Netflix went years. They did not even state the number of years. They just went years before they became profitable. Uber, we know Uber. Uber went 10 years without turning a profit. It is recorded that in those 10 years, Uber made a loss of $3 billion. Think about it. because we need to understand what startup means. Think about it critically. Uber went, because I'm reading it from Google, Uber went over 10 years of making a loss. Not only did they go 10 years of making a loss, they made a loss of $3 billion in 10 years, meaning investors kept putting in money. Investors kept putting in money despite the fact the company was burning through money and running at a loss. Why would investors keep putting money in a company that is running at a loss? Why will investors keep putting money in a company that is running at a loss every year? The answer is simple. Because the company had a sustainable business model, even though they did not have profit yet. Even though they did not have profit yet. A company called Snap, the makers of Snapchat that you all know, they were established in 2011. They did not start making profit until 2017. Pinterest, established in 2009, took over 10 years before they made profit. Slack, 2009, did not make profit until 2019. Why am I calling all of this? So that you realize that you are not profitable is not new. Because the lie that you have always told yourself is the reason you cannot get an investor is because your business is not profitable. The reason you cannot get an investor is because your business is small. The reason you cannot get an investor is because, you don't know how to speak plenty English. All of these things are wrong. They are not the truth. One of the reasons you are not getting an investor is because you do not have a sustainable business model. You must be sustainable till you break through. They don't want what will bring money today and die tomorrow. Investors are not looking for what will give them money on Monday, by Tuesday it is dead. No. Let me use an example. What is wrong with MMM? All these what do they call it again? Something marketing thingy that people do. You know what I'm talking about. All this multi-level marketing stuff. MLM, sorry, not MMM, MLM. What is the problem with MLM? All this multi-level marketing. In the short term, when an MLM, let's say a new one starts today in Nigeria. If a new one starts today in Nigeria, you know by default, Nigerians, you know the truth now, that you even tell yourself, be early. If you start early, you will make profits. But the problem is, the longer it stays, you are using Peter's money to pay Paul, Ade's money to pay Peter. By the time it gets bigger and bigger, the system is not sustainable. It is profitable on short term, not sustainable on long term, which is why it is not investment worthy. I hope I made a bit of sense. So, in your vision, after you have gotten clarity, next is get a sustainable business model. Get a sustainable business model. Next is monitor your cash burn. Thank you, Optimistic Farm. Monitor your cash burn. Your cash burn. How much money are you burning to remain alive? Because at times, you are burning so much that you die before you get to your helper. Or I remember there was this Lions Den, they call the Nigeria version zone, and I was watching it, and I think there was a particular episode, a particular guy came to pitch, I think, about boats. He does all these boat transportation, using boats on water to transport. And I remember while he was pitching, he talked about wanting to buy a new boat, and one of the judges asked him some questions, and he was already owing a lot. He was owing too much, to the extent that he really did not have any bargaining power, any bargaining chip left. He was already owing too much. The burn rate was so much that he has incurred so much debt. He has incurred so much debt that was what was weighing the business down. Monitor your burn rate. Yes, the investor is willing to invest in you even if you are not profitable. Okay, thank you, big words, you saw it too. Even if you are not profitable, does not mean they want to invest in a pipeline of waste. No. We need to be able to account for every kobo. We are not trying to, hey, my Oga Kasparin, Happy New Year, good evening, sir. They are not trying to invest in a pipeline of waste. No. So you need to sit down and look at, okay, the money that we have been spending so far, are we spending on what is actually needed? Or are we spending for glory? That is why at times, when I see startups and they are like, you have not done anything yet, you want to go and build a website for who? And we want to build a very good website, we want to build an app, we want to build this, and I'm like, okay. I think the most common one, I'm sure if you're a farmer, you probably would have seen people say this a lot to you. Once you meet the person telling you, I want to bring a tech into agriculture, ask them what the tech is. 99% of the time, the tech is, we want to create a digital space where farmers will be selling their products. We will cut off the middleman. We will connect the markets. We will connect the farmers to the buyers directly. And I'm like, oh, wow, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Then I always ask them some questions that makes them run away. They don't come back to give me feedback. I ask them questions like, you as a consumer, how many times have you gone online to buy tomato and pepper? To buy shoko and tete? Ewedu? They are like, no, not actually, not really. I say, okay, the farmer that you are targeting to help, you say you want to help the real farmer because the problem is people are complaining that food is expensive and it is because of the middlemen. They say yes. I said, okay, these farmers that are the ones that are really farming that you want to help, do they know how to use Android phone to upload? How many of them own Android phones? How many of them live in spaces where there is network? You now start hearing some gibberish. We are going to have agents or we are going to have officers that will be on the ground that will help them do this, that will help them do that. Then I ask them, does that not also make you a middleman? Do you know what it means to move product from a village, Odogbolu, Karaki, Shakator, to a city for the product to get there? So you then realize this person has not even understand the nitty-gritty of what they are trying to do, but they are already spending money building an expensive app. I make bold to say that there are lots of digital apps that have been created in agriculture in Nigeria today that are no longer in use. Wantiku. They are dead. Think of a lot of other things that we have spent, we spend money on in agri that don't matter. The person is trying to start a farm. You have not even farmed one plant. You have gotten office. What are you doing in the office? They are like, you dress the way you want to be addressed. So they go and rent an office space in one clean creme de la creme area. But no land yet. Or the farm is even struggling. And they are there speaking big English. I'm like, kilo day, kilo shele, what's happening? High burn rates. Your farm has not even farmed mango. It has not farmed pepper enough. You already have company vehicle. What is the company vehicle carrying? Your debt? Is the company vehicle meant to help you carry debt? So there are lots and lots of things that we are spending money on. Let me give you another one. Let me give you a simple one. That a lot of people are guilty of, that we spend money on. Business card. Think about it. Be honest. Just say if it affects you or not. Let's do a thank you. Buy some people buy cards too. How many business cards have you collected that you never used again? Or no, let me put it in a way that we can say yes or no. Have you ever collected a business card from somebody that you never used again? Say yes or no. That thing, business card, business card, business card. Let me see how get our feedback. Yes or no. Like the person you went to the program, you saw the person gave you their business card. And Oton, oh, Lomo. Yes, okay. Because I want to be sure I'm not the only one. Because in my office, I have a museum of business cards. Because what I suddenly realized was if the thing is important, you will bring out your phone and collect the number immediately. As a matter of fact, when people even give me their card, if it is important, I immediately save the number on my phone. And I tell you, take your card back. If you insist I keep the card, no problem. When I get to the office, I keep it in the card museum. Because I already have the data on my phone. Now, you that you have just started, you've not even done anything. The first thing you had to do was you went to print business cards, bond rate. Because by the time the investor is trying to look at you, that you are printing a business card tells the person, okay, if you have the money, if the money is available, you will not stop at printing business cards. Because you want to feel among, you will change your phone so that they know that you are part of them. You will change your laptop. There are things externally that you will change to feel among, for people to know that yes, CEO has arrived. The CEO is here. Are we still together? Hope I'm making any sense. I hope I'm making sense. So you need to look at your burn rates. You need to look at your burn rates. Because the reality is, I tell people this, and at times they feel I am joking. Hey, Aya Icon, good to have you here. They feel, oh, Mama Sam is just saying it, I know because he has Mama Sam. There are more people looking for where to invest money today than there are businesses that qualify to take money. I will say that again. There are more people, there is more money looking for where to be invested than there are businesses that are worth investment. Than there are businesses that are worth investing into. And the reason for that is because as startups, we are not taking time to do our homework. I'm sure you'd have heard people say things like, oh, it feels like it is the same people that keep getting invested into. It feels like it is the same people that keep getting loan. It feels like it is the same people that keep getting grant. It feels like it's a cycle. Some people will even go as far as saying it feels like there is a cult of people they like to give it to. No, it's not because there is a cult of people. It's because there are people that have understood what is needed and have learned how to build a structure that can accept it. Then number 4, where we stop today, that's not all, but where we stop today, number 4, is systems. 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 As a person looking for investments, think about it. I come to you and I tell you, hey, come and invest in my farm, or I need money for my farm. And you're like, hey, how much do you need for your farm? And I say, Baba, right now I need like 500 million. Let's assume you actually have the money to give. And then you're not like, how will you pay back? I'm like, trust me, now I go do the whole work alone. See, let me say this in the simplest form that I can say it. If 500 million naira enters your company today, Baba, you as the CEO, let's say you are a bell pepper farmer, and we give you 500 million naira today, say, bah, put it in your bell pepper farm. You cannot be your own agronomist anymore. You cannot be your own farm manager anymore. You cannot be your own irrigation person anymore. You cannot be your own electrical person anymore. You cannot be your own plumber. You cannot be your own logistics. You cannot be your own finance person anymore. You cannot be your own procurement officer alone anymore. Because with that money coming in, by default, it is expected that there is a system that manages the money without you. Two, most importantly, should something happen to you, the business should not die. We are not giving you investment with prayer that God, don't let this person die or preserve the person. God, don't let this person fall sick or preserve the person. No. So it means that as the money gets into your pocket, they are not funding your vision, they are funding a system that carries the vision. Hope that makes any sense. They are funding a system that carries the vision. It is not the vision clarity that they are funding. Yes, they may like you, they may love you with a passion. Have you not met investors that will say they really like you, but they didn't give you money? Not because they don't like you enough, but liking you is not enough reason to put money in your business. They can give you money to say, take, go and do is it oblate they call it, go and oblate. But if the money needs to go into your business, we need to see that there is a system, though you are small, that when we fund can become big. Let me use an analogy for it to make sense. If you take a baby and you take a full-grown adult, let's say a baby boy and a man, there is no organ in the baby that is not present in the adult. Vice versa, there is no organ in the adult that is not present in the baby. Abi, do we agree? If we agree, say yes or I agree. Let me be sure we are still together. TikTok, YouTube. If you agree, say yes. Let me be sure. Yes, I agree. Okay. Let me see one person from yes. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to be sure we are together at that point. Now, this is what it means. If there is a child who lacks an organ, let's say one lung is missing, one kidney is missing, spleen not dey function well, something, an organ is missing, that child cannot grow to become a proper adult, right? Which means what killed the child with time is an organ or a system that is missing. That is what killed the child. Now, see that small child as your small business. See the adult as the big business. What kills small businesses, or what will keep your small business remaining small, is your small business does not have the right organs to grow. Your small business does not have the right systems to grow. So the death of a small business is not because of the lack of money, but because there are systems that are missing. Hope somebody is getting that. There are systems that your small business is supposed to have that is missing. That is why the small business died. Because if anybody is going to fund your small business, what they are funding, it's not the vision clarity alone. The vision clarity is proof that we can get to an end, is proof that this thing can grow big, but there must be system that will make it grow. And a lot of small businesses are one-man army and not a system. They are a one-man thing and not a system. Have you noticed when you are doing pitch, in one of the things they will show your team members, put your team members. They are not asking for your team members to calculate how many people are in the company. It is a way to know, is there a system applicable, available, that is manned by people? Is there a system? Is there a system available manned by people? Hope you understand what I'm trying to explain. Because Why a lot of small businesses are not getting support is because they are a one-man army. Let me put it another way for you to understand. Look, I don't know if you have that woman on your street that sells akara. That sells akara by the roadside. That woman that is selling akara by the roadside. If you have 10 million naira right now, will you put 10 million naira in that akara woman's business? Would you? What if you have 100 million naira right now? Will you put 100 million naira in that akara woman's business? The most likely answer you will give is no. Why are you saying no? Your no stems from two things. Either number one, you don't see the potential of how 100 million naira can stay inside akara. Or number two, you feel the money is too much, it will kill the business. But this is the reality. Can an akara business take 100 million naira investment? Yes. Because the akara woman can be selling akara on one hand, selling beans flour on one hand, that's beans powder on one hand, bean moi moi on another hand, sell raw beans, sell instruments for making beans, even start creating recipes from beans, start exporting it. It can take it. But looking at the akara woman, the first reason why in your mind you are like, no, never, is you don't see a future where 100 million naira will push her to. That is why you first said no. Like, akara woman, hey, Chika Royce, give you 100M. How now? Wait, what happened? So, you don't see that as possibility. Two, because you see her as one woman business, maybe with 2 children. She's the one that will shout, go and bring this, bring this. The day mama is sick, akara does not open that day. So you don't see it as something you will put your money. Now, take time after this conversation, go on YouTube, watch it again, ask yourself, if you were the rich person, would you put money in your vision with all that I have said? Would you honestly put money in what you are building? Or are there things you need to correct? There are still other things I did not discuss about. There is the hype of a business, over evaluation of a business, the problematic nature of businesses that you have not understood, and you are in the sector, you've not figured it out, and how to, what's the word? Correct it. So there is still a lot I did not talk about, but we will stop here. I don't think there is any question. It's already an hour. So we will stop here. And if there's any question, if not, thank you all for joining. I hope we learned a thing or two. I will leave it available on this thing, so you can go and rewatch at your time on YouTube. You can watch it again on YouTube and see. Check. Thank you all for joining. You can check it out on YouTube and be able to see all that I discussed and make your own informed decisions. Like I said, a startup is not because you just started. No. A startup is a business that is just starting, but you have capacity for thank you for joining, but you have capacity for accelerated growth. That's the part that is most important. It's not that you are just starting, but that there is capacity for accelerated growth. There is capacity for accelerated growth. And it is your job to think around, how do I build in accelerated growth? How do I build in accelerated growth? It is your job to think that, how do I put in accelerated growth? How do I put in accelerated growth into my business? How do I make it obvious? So that what are the things I need to put out? What are the things I need to take out? What are the things I need to put in? Because there are lots of people looking for where to invest. There is hardly a week that goes by where I don't have people reaching out to say, oh, from Sam, we have this couple of millions, we have this thing, where can we put it? Please, I want to make more sales in my business and the logistics. I don't know what you do in your business now. You're Dio's shoe. Is it like you are into selling of shoes? Because I'm seeing shoe in your name. Are you into selling of shoes? You're into selling of shoes. You make shoes yourself. Now the question is, are you a good sales rep? Are you a good salesperson as a person? Would you consider yourself somebody that knows how to sell things? Or are you more of a technical person that knows the technical know-how of what you do? Are you a salesperson or are you a technical person? Check my lecture on collaboration, though it was, I think that was yesterday or the before I was teaching on collaboration, because you need to know what you know how to do well. If you notice that you are not the salesperson, then you probably need to work with somebody that knows sales and add them to your team to help you do your selling. Yes, when you need investor, we can always talk, and if I believe your business is fundable, I will connect you with them. If I believe your business is fundable, because I've had people reach out to say, oh, I need investor, and I say, okay, send me this document, send me that document, send me that document, and you start hearing stories like, from Sam, believe me. No, I cannot tell investor believe. How do you handle investors? Investors are people. Investors are people. Investors are human beings. So see it as, I'm looking for a way to explain that. The best thing with investors is they must understand what you're doing. For me, they understand what I am doing. They understand what I'm building, and I give them updates. It's that simple. It's that transparency thingy. And remember that investors, that's why I took time to explain, investors are very, how can one get ready and prepare for investors? Take time and follow everything I said today. If you do all of that, there are things I did not get to, e.g. your documentation. It matters to investors, proper documentation. Because at the end of the day, when it is time and they start coming around, you cannot start preparing when they come. You should be prepared before they even come. You should be prepared before they even come. So that by the time they come, you have all of these things already in place. They notice that you already have the vision, you have the system. My YouTube handle is just my name. The same name on my TikTok is the same name on YouTube. So handling investor is one of the easiest things. See, somebody is probably thinking, what if what I plan should fail? How do I talk with investors? Maybe I will discuss that next. If your business should fail, tell them. Tell them, Baba, this thing failed, though. They are human beings. If they can prove that you did everything right, I mean, I talked about it earlier. WeWork went bankrupt after they were valued at $44 billion. Do you know what it means to say a company valued at $44 billion went down? We saw another company earlier that made a loss of $3 billion for 10 years before they became profitable. But their investors stayed. Why? We see what you are building. We understand that things. Look, let me use a typical example that we will all relate with. Right now, is Dangote Refinery profitable? I can bet and say no. Are they making money? Yes. Are they profitable yet? No. Because if you look at the amount of investment that they put in, they have not made back all of that money to break even and be profitable. But what if maybe tomorrow one of the engineers realizes there is one machine that we need to buy? Will investors still give him money? Yes, because the business model is sustainable even though it is not profitable yet. Let me give another example that we will all remember. How many of us remember Oride? One of the children of Ope those days. Oride, when Oride came in and they were doing bike anywhere 10 naira, be 50 naira. And then they were giving their bike people free helmet and I think phone, if I remember correctly, and I think a vest. When they were doing that, do you think Oride was profitable? No. But it was a business model that for them was sustainable, because if they were not checkmates by other people, by today all our life will be ruled by Opay, Oride, O houses, O bank, O living, O feed. Everything would have had O in it. Because what were they trying to do? They were, if you notice, they were running to enter. You use Oride that year. They were trying to enter high pressure shine. They were trying to enter every sector. That's what they were trying to do. So it is not about building profitable business first. It's about building sustainable businesses. Let me say this. A business that is sustainable will eventually become profitable. If you stay long enough, profit will show. If your business is sustainable and you are not making profit, the investors can give you experts to turn it to become profitable. But if it is profitable but it is not sustainable, you are a huge risk, a high risk. Because it now becomes a question in their head, can we make our money back before this business dies? Let me look for another way to put this so it will make sense. What's this thing called? This Ponzi scheme, Nigeria Ponzi scheme scene. When people started doing invest this for 10%, 20%, 50% ROI in agric, why is it that when agricultural companies defaulted, the shouts was loud, the dragging was long? You at least we were all alive now. The way they were dragging people up and down, hey, ah, oh, he. But take time and check. There are, in short, let me not use the word take time. Let me see if I can quickly Google it so that. What do I type on Google now to make it easy? Biggest Ponzi scams and worth in Nigeria. Let's look at the biggest Ponzi scams and worth in Nigeria. Okay. The first one on the list is CBEX. It is estimated that 1.3 trillion or 1.3 trillion naira or $847 million was lost to CBEX. CBEX is crypto, not agric. MBA Forex Trading lost 171 billion naira or $514 million. Let me go back. CBEX was lost between 2024 and 2025 within a year. MBA Forex Trading between 2019 and 2021, less than 5 years or 5 years. MMM, Mavrodi Mondia Money Box, 18 billion naira loss, 2016. Baraza Multipurpose Cooperative, 40 billion naira loss, 2021. Chimac was into hospitality and logistics, 10 billion naira loss. Did you notice agric did not come up there at all? Why is it that it was agric owned that took a lot of bing? Because naturally people are scared that farms are not sustainable. The list is for real. I took it from Google. It is from Google that I caught the list. It's from Google. It's not from my head. It's Google I was reading it from. It was from Google. because people assume that this is not sustainable. It's not sustainable. Cash, let's do quick and get out. Because if they think it is sustainable, even if you are making a loss, they will wait with you. If they think it is sustainable, let me use AI to search. I think AI will give me more names. If they think it is sustainable, let me say list top 50. If people believe it is sustainable and you are running at a loss or you are owing them, they won't scream. E.g., if one better rich man dey owe you money, you no go over shout. I've used what's it called? I'm using what's the word now? AI, so that I can get more. With AI search, CBEX is still number one. CBEX is China Beijing Equity Exchange. $1.3 trillion, 1.3 trillion naira loss. MBA Forex is still number 2, 213 billion naira loss. MMM is still number 3, $50 million lost. That's 18 to 15 billion. Galaxy Transportation Construction Services, $7 billion. Racksterly, this one promised quick doubling of investment. The exact figures they don't know, but they know it was high. No Bond Global Limited, you get 50% returns in 7 days. A lot of money lost. This is the first agric I'm hearing now. Farmfort Agro Limited, their name just came up. Number 8, Baraza Multipurpose. Over 30,000 people lost their money. Loom Money or Blessing Loom Nigeria version. You get 800% with 48 hours. You too when go put money for that kind of thing. Tweakers, Ultimate Cycler, Get Help Worldwide, Crowd Rising, Famzy Inter Limited, 2 billion naira loss. Like a lot of them, the list continues. So think sustainability. I know it is a hard thing to carry because you have always been told, as a business, think profitability. No, first think sustainability. Investors want sustainability. See, have you noticed that big investors, you no go hear say Ponzi scheme catch them? Because they are not trying to make money overnight. They understand patient capital. They are willing to invest and give you 5, 10, 20 years for the money to come back. Patient capital. And as I round up, let me say this. What I have learned is it is important that you build a business that patient capital can enter than a business system that you are collecting 1,000 here, 2,000 here, 50,000 here. People that are investing 50K, 500K, 1 million, most of the time in your business are co-broke. They are just at a better level of broke compared to you. Once anything do kperem, they will come and ask for their money. The money they invested in you is their plan for tomorrow. But a person that can invest 500 million naira in your business is not depending on you to survive most of the time. So if things go wrong, they are more understanding in conversation. But the person that gave you 50K, that 50K is the next school fees for the next term. So once something goes wrong, the world must hear. Once anything, in short, at least recently, we had some companies that recently went bankrupt in Nigeria. Let me see if I can get list of companies that declared bankruptcy in Nigeria and the value of funds raised. So you understand what I'm trying to explain? I want to check so that you get where I'm coming from. I want to look at major companies, Heritage Bank. No, let's leave all those ones. Now I'm looking for all these guys that raised. GoCada. GoCada declared Chapter 11 bankruptcy recently. They declared Chapter 11 bankruptcy. GoCada raised $5.3 million. $5.3 million in 2019. A company that got $5.3 million into its coffers declared bankruptcy. Did you hear the people that gave them money shouting, what of the money we gave you? You open a mutual account for a friend's business and you have not rested. Exactly, every small thing. Money don't go down. This is it, don't go down. Evans Medical declared bad. Let me leave those. I'm looking for people that are. No, I'm looking for. These are not the kind of people I'm looking for. Let me look for a way to put it. Startup. Let me use startups that raised foreign funds that have shut down. Include amount raised, when, and when they shut down. So, because I want to give you real examples, that doesn't look like, oh, I'm doing story upon story. I want to give you real examples so that it doesn't feel like, oh, are you being serious? Or if you raise money from people that really have means, we must think sustainability, yes. Because if you raise money from a Dangote now, Dangote put 10 billion in your account, you use and do business, the business fail. Dangote will call the run for show you up and down. No, now. Sheko ni sheni. So, I want to give you an example. Okra, O-K-R-O-A. Okra is a fintech company. Okra raised $16.5 million. $16.5 million. They shut down May, July 2025 was when the company shut down. They raised the total $16.5 million between 2020 and 2024. Another company, 50. I'm not mocking them, don't get me wrong, I'm not mocking them. I am just trying to tell you, build a business that can be funded, that should anything happen to the business, nobody is coming to drag you online. Nobody is coming to choke you and insult you. No. Because there will be a system that when it fails, even the investors will know that you tried. But fail is not you. It just had to fail. 54Gene. 54Gene was in the health sector. 54Gene raised between $47 to $70 million. They raised between $47 to $70 million. They shut down in September 2023. They shut down in September 2023. Another company, Lydia, L-I-D-Y-A, Lydia. Lydia was another fintech company. They raised $16.4 million. They shut down last year. Another company, Kippa, K-I-P-P-A. Another fintech company, they were a bookkeeping and payment platform. They raised $11.6 million. They shut down November 2023. Another one, Vibra, V-I-B-R-O-A, a fintech company into crypto and finance. They raised $6 million. They shut down in 2024. Another one, Edukoya, E-D-U-K-O-Y-A. They were an EdTech company, an education company, this K-12 learning company. They raised $3.5 million, shut down February 2025. Another company, Bento Africa. Bento Africa was an HRO payroll tech company. They raised $3.1 million, shut down February 2025. Another company, Pivo, fintech company, raised $2.6 million, shut down December 2023. Another company, DePierre, fintech company, raised $2.1 million, shut down April 2024. Another company, Zazu, Z-A-Z-U-U, Because when you heard that song, Zazu, you thought most of you don't even know where that term came from. They raised $2 million, shut down late 2023. Another company, MedServ, healthcare company, they raised between $2 to $7 million, shut down 2025. Another company, LaserPay, a fintech company that is a crypto fintech payment, raised $1.1 million, shut down April 2023. Next is Bundle Africa, raised $450,000, shut down 2023. Javelin, they raised $100,000, shut down 2025. Hiroshi, logistics company, we are not too sure how much they raised, but they shut down 2025. The list continues. Yes, thank you, my sister. This is to show you that money does not sustain business. You need to have a sustainable model. Now, in all the names that I listed, did you hear any agri company? No agri. Did you hear any agri company among people that raised money and lost money? No. The problem is, you see, the few agri companies that have gone to that level to raise put a sustainable model and they did not shut down. But the reason why you will hear them dragging agri company online 24/7 anyhow is because those ones went to raise money from people that don't even have enough. So one little pege, I am one of those that believe that not everybody that was dragged online did things that were wrong. Their business just failed because of one or two hitches. And they got dragged as if they are part of the Ponzi scheme. They got dragged. I hope somebody understood what I tried. Sorry, it has taken longer than 1 hour. We spent extra 26 minutes, but I hope we understood all I tried explaining today. We must build sustainable businesses. Why are they not dragging fintech company? Why are they not dragging not first to Sanzan? Why are they not dragging fintech company? Fintech founders are not raising money from the streets like agri founders. They have understood where, if you want to understand what I have explained, take your time. Don't be afraid to do research. You see, take time and study top 100 companies that have raised money in fintech and have shut down. You are going to see some of the founders being the same people, which means they ran a company, it shut down, they started another company, and another investor, at times the same investor, still invested in them again. Still invested in them. Because it is easier to invest in somebody who has failed big than invest in who has never failed. So, thank you all for watching. Thank you, Madi. You say I'm going to have to go back and watch from the beginning because what? Nobody tells you this. It's on YouTube. You can watch this again and again. I hope it helps somebody. This is my own way of giving back so that instead of saying I want to organize one class and people are like, I can't pay for it. Take this, learn from it. Your startup is not a startup because you just started. Your startup is a startup because you are just starting, but you have capacity for accelerated growth. You have capacity for accelerated growth. One of these days I will teach on how to build that capacity, then how to show that capacity for accelerated growth. There are a lot of businesses that are shutting down behind the scene that raised a lot of money. You are not hearing about it. If it is making news, the reason we even know some of this fintech stuff that made news is because of this tech, I can't remember the name of this tech platform that does a lot of publication of all this news. If not, you will not even know things like this are happening behind the scene. You just think everything is fine because nobody is shouting. Because they raised money from a source that can afford to lose it. They are not raising money from who does not have it. Were we not both alive? Tech Kaba, thank you. We were all alive now when Mr. Femi Otedola said that they wrote off, is this 700 and something billion naira bad debts from First Bank, people that are owing First Bank. The question is, people that they wrote off their debt, do you think it's people that came to borrow 100K and 50K? Those ones, they go don't hound them to pay. Now, people when borrow better money, that they forgive their debt. My live sessions are between 9 p.m. and 10 p.m. within the week, or not anytime, but I usually come on live between 9 and 10 anytime. But I don't have specific days yet. I'm still trying to work out my system to be able to create specific days. But between 9 and 10, once that time range passes and I'm not live, then I'm not coming live. But on some days like today, I came live, I think around 7 p.m., but that was not about Agric. I talked about the fact that I just opened a studio, the biggest live studio in Ogun State. I just opened that. So some big artists came around today to do rehearsals, and they were nice enough to allow me sit in and do live. And I mean, I enjoyed, and I saw, oh, these are people do rehearsals. Wow, wow, wow. And I mean, I think for the first time I got to I might be wrong. I felt the rehearsals are more interesting than the live performance because of the rehearsals that I saw. I don't know if I am right or wrong. Because the banter, like, see as they play the drum. I said, do it like this, just koi, koi, koi. You now do koi, koi, koi. You don't do it when the person will say yes. Then the guy now goes, koi, 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 koi. They're like, no, now they say do it once. He says, she make a koi, 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 they go. And they all laugh and it's all banter and fun. And I'm like, wow. But they come on stage and it feels like everything is all. I mean, the rehearsals went for like 2 hours, and I think I spent about an hour, 30 minutes just watching them rehearse. The inside jokes, yes, I was just watching them rehearse. I don't know music. I don't know if they were singing the right key, if they were singing the wrong key. I don't know. But all of those banter, starting and stopping, correcting, the lead singer will say the way you did the backup, say something happened to you, they just laugh it off and they restart again. It was fun for me. And I mean, I think I might be attending their rehearsal because I think I have another set of people coming tomorrow for rehearsals. I heard. I need to check the schedule of payment to see if they've paid, and it's just fun watching them rehearse. Yes, I had a good day. My earlier in the day was busy, but the night watching them rehearse and they allowed. I mean, I didn't know rehearsals were that fun. I only asked, oh, is it possible I can just go on live? And they said, yes, I can go live. It's fine. That is their rehearsals, that they also do it live. So, and I just put it live, and I was like, okay, let me just sit down and watch. And then the whole banter thing is started. I mean, it's even their rehearsals are so funny that they also, so the lead singer uses part of the how they speak their English, the in-house joke to sing. So at times he's singing and he's like, I don't want to call their names because I mean, I'm not supposed to call their names. That's even why if there was anybody that watched, you would notice I did not zoom on their faces. I had to make it far. That they just told me not to zoom, but it was sharp fun to watch. It was fun to watch them rehearse. I digressed a lot. It was fun to watch them rehearse. I learned from them also that life not be gidigada. You don't need to die in trying to prepare the food. Thank you for joining. Yes, there was really big understanding amongst the team. There was a big understanding.